The year was 1900. A group of Greek sponge divers led by Captain Dimitrios Kontos sought refuge from a violent storm near the small island of Antikythera. When the tempest subsided, they decided to explore the seafloor hoping to find sponges. One diver, Elias Stadiatis, surfaced with a startling report. He spoke of a gruesome sight on the seabed, a heap of rotting corpses and horses. The captain, skeptical but intrigued, dove down himself. What he found was not a recent tragedy but the remains of an ancient Roman shipwreck, its treasures scattered across the floor of the Aegean Sea. The corpses were actually magnificent bronze and marble statues, preserved for 2 millennia beneath the waves. This chance discovery marked the beginning of the world's first major underwater archaeological excavation. The divers, now working with the Hellenic Royal Navy and archaeologists, began the arduous task of recovering the ship's cargo. They brought up stunning artifacts. There were beautiful marble statues. They found bronze sculptures. Yet, amidst the glorious statues and precious goods, lay a single, unassuming lump. It was a corroded, calcified mass of bronze, about the size of a large dictionary. It looked like little more than a piece of rock, easily overlooked among the more glamorous finds. This unremarkable object was sent to the National Archaeological Museum in Athens, along with the other artifacts. It sat there for nearly 2 years, largely ignored. No one knew what to make of it. The scholars were far more interested in the statues and other works of art. Then, one day in May 1902, the lump broke apart. It split open, perhaps due to drying and internal stresses. What was revealed inside stunned the museum staff. Within the corroded exterior were layers of intricate, precisely cut gear wheels. The object was clearly not a rock. It was a machine, a complex piece of clockwork from a time when such technology was thought to be utterly impossible. The discovery of these gears sent shockwaves through the historical and scientific communities. It was a profound anomaly. Simple gears were known to have existed in the ancient world, used in things like water mills or odometers. But this was different. This was a system of interlocking wheels, dials, and pointers, suggesting a level of mechanical complexity that was not believed to have been achieved until the great astronomical clocks of medieval Europe, more than 1,000 years later. The lump of bronze from the Antikythera shipwreck was not just another artifact. It was a mystery, a technological ghost from a lost world that challenged everything we thought we knew about ancient science and engineering. The true genius of the Antikythera mechanism lies in its internal complexity. Inside its corroded shell is a labyrinth of at least 30 interlocking bronze gear wheels. These are not crude, simple cogs. They are precision-engineered components with teeth that were carefully cut into tiny equilateral triangles. The gears were arranged in a complex, non-intuitive way to drive a series of pointers on the front and back dials. A user would turn a knob or crank on the side, setting the entire system in motion. As the main gear turned, it drove the other gears, moving pointers to display a vast amount of astronomical information simultaneously. It was a mechanical symphony of moving parts. The front dial showed the position of the sun and the position of the moon against the zodiac. It also had a separate pointer for the moon's phase. The true marvel was how it modeled the moon's irregular motion. The Greeks knew the moon's orbit speeds up and slows down. To account for this, the creator used a pin and slot system. One gear with a pin moving in a slot on another gear, varying its speed. This epicyclic or differential gearing was not thought to exist until the 16th century. Its presence here is breathtaking. The back was just as complex with 2 large spiral dials. One tracked the 235-month Metonic cycle. The other was a Saros eclipse prediction dial. It showed when lunar eclipses and when solar eclipses were likely to occur, even accounting for variable color and size of a lunar eclipse. This wasn't just theoretical, it was a practical tool. It translated the era's advanced astronomy into a tangible predictive machine, a physical embodiment of the Greek cosmos. It is a clockwork that tells the story of the universe. For decades after its discovery, the Antikythera mechanism remained a puzzle. The fragments were brittle and corroded, close up. Early researchers could only guess at its function. The first major breakthrough came in the 1950s from Derek de Sola Price. He used X-rays to peer inside the corroded layers. In 1974 he published Gears from the Greeks. He proposed the device was an astronomical calculator, revolutionary at the time. Price painstakingly counted the teeth on visible gears. He created the first detailed model of how it might have worked. His work laid the foundation for future research. Price's work was groundbreaking but not final. The era's technology had limits. X-rays were fuzzy, large fragments still hid many parts. The next leap came in the early 21st century. In 2005, an international team, the Antikythera Mechanism Research Project, took over. They used custom-built, high-resolution X-ray computed tomography (CT) scanners. The CT produced three-dimensional images of the fragments. It was like giving researchers digital superpowers: see through corrosion and inspect every gear tooth. The results were spectacular. CT scans revealed details Price couldn't see. They uncovered more gears, at least 30. They revealed faint inscriptions on the surfaces of the dials. They revealed inscriptions on a back plate, a user manual. The inscriptions described the movements of the sun. The implications of the Antikythera mechanism are profound. It forces us to rethink our entire narrative about the history of science and technology. We have long held a rather linear view of progress. The Romans were great engineers. The Dark Ages were a period of stagnation. The Renaissance sparked a scientific rebirth. The mechanism shatters this simplistic timeline. It shows that some ancient Greek scientists had advanced mechanical and astronomical knowledge, far more advanced than we ever imagined. It suggests a forgotten chapter of human ingenuity, a peak reached and lost for over a millennium. This device reveals the scientific mindset of the ancient Greeks. They weren't content with abstract theory. They built physical models to test and demonstrate ideas. The creator wasn't just a craftsman. He was a scientist who turned complex mathematical cycles into working mechanics. The device embodies Greek passion for order, Greek passion for logic, Greek passion for understanding the universe. Who could have built such a thing? Origins are debated, but clues point to possibilities. Inscriptions use a Corinthian-style alphabet made in a colony of Corinth, perhaps Syracuse in Sicily. Syracuse was home to Archimedes a century earlier. Cicero writes Archimedes made a bronze sphere showing the motions of the Antikythera mechanism raises a haunting question. What else have we lost? If the ancient Greeks could build this, what other wonders of science and engineering might have existed? The mechanism is a stark reminder that history is not a continuous upward climb. Knowledge can be gained, and it can also be lost. The skills and scientific understanding required to build this device did not survive the fall of the Roman Empire. The Library of Alexandria, a vast repository of ancient knowledge, was destroyed. The tradition of precision mechanical engineering that produced the mechanism vanished. It would take the world more than 1,400 years to get back to that same level of sophistication. These devices were rare and expensive, made from bronze that was often melted down and repurposed, especially in times of war and upheaval. Its survival was a 1 in a billion accident at the bottom of the sea. The vast majority of these amazing machines would have simply vanished without a trace, their memory surviving only in a few scattered and often misunderstood ancient texts. We are left to wonder what other secrets are still buried beneath the earth or at the bottom of the sea. The Antikythera shipwreck itself is still being excavated. In recent years, divers have found more statues, the skeletal remains of some of the crew. Perhaps another mechanism, fragments of one, still lies hidden in the sediment. Or perhaps other shipwrecks in the Mediterranean hold similar technological treasures waiting to be discovered. The Antikythera mechanism is a powerful incentive to keep looking, to keep exploring our past with the knowledge that it might be far more complex and surprising than we ever dared to imagine. Today, the Antikythera mechanism continues to inspire awe and wonder. It is more than just an ancient artifact. It is a symbol of human curiosity and our timeless quest to understand our place in the universe. It connects us directly to the mind of an ancient Greek genius who looked up at the stars and decided to build a machine to capture their dance. The device is a beautiful fusion of art, science, engineering. It reminds us that the drive to explore, to understand, to create is not a modern phenomenon. The mystery is not entirely solved. While scientists have a good understanding of how the mechanism worked, many questions remain. Each new discovery seems to open up a new set of questions, ensuring that the mechanism will continue to fascinate researchers for generations to come.